Congratulations, you have made it through videos 1 to 3 of the basics series. Video 1, we talked about what our emotions are and where they come from. Video 2, we talked about the core emotions and understanding the building blocks of our emotions and our feelings. Video 3, we talked about complex emotions and how our core emotions usually come in teens and what our feelings are in comparison to that, and how to start understanding and identifying what those core needs are. And in this video, I'm going to summarize for you the Mighty Emotions method, which is a method that I created to help you process your emotions, no matter what they are. You can use this to process uncomfortable emotions. You can use this to process pleasurable emotions. Because I know for me, when I first started to go on a journey of recovery and healing, it was really uncomfortable for me to feel pleasurable emotions. I didn't really trust feeling excitement and joy, and I always kind of had fear coming along with that. So sometimes our uncomfortable emotions can pair up with more comfortable emotions, like sadness and love typically come together as well. And you can learn more about this inside my community, themightyemotions.com, where I share more in depth about all of the emotions, and we discuss real life experiences and how the emotions show up and how to work with them in these actual real life scenarios. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to explain to you at a high level what the Mighty Emotions method is, so that you can begin to kind of trying to work with it. So there are 4 steps in the Mighty Emotions method, and they must be completed in this order, and I'll explain why. The first step of the Mighty Emotions method is noticing. Noticing what we're feeling. Noticing if we've been triggered or emotionally activated. Noticing if we're in a fear response. Noticing and becoming familiar with the sensations in our bodies so that we're not running from them, right? It's like, oh, if you feel hungry, you're not freaking out or trying to avoid that feeling, or maybe you are. But if you're experiencing hunger or fatigue, you immediately recognize what is the need that you need to take care of. And so noticing is just about feeling that sensation come up and being aware of it, being conscious that it's happening. This is also the step where you begin to try to name and identify what the emotion is, so that you take away that big, overwhelming, vague kind of feeling and you go, okay, what am I feeling? What are the emotions that are underlying this? Trying to name them, beginning to name them. You can use what's called the feeling and emotions wheel to help you just kind of put a name to it, because that kind of diminishes its power, its hold over you. The second step in the method is honoring, and this is the step that can be really tricky. Honoring is about allowing that emotional energy to exist and allowing it to flow in our body, and to staying with it, to sitting with it, to holding space for ourselves. We are familiar with the concept of having other people hold space for us and sitting with us when we're experiencing big emotions. And so if you need that as well, absolutely, that's so important to reach out and get that support. It's also really important to practice taking care of yourself and practice holding space for yourself when those big feelings come up. And there are many ways we can do this. A lot of people suggest breath work and things like that. I like to suggest anything that helps you engage with your body and develop that internal awareness. So counting backwards from 60 to 1, noticing the sensations moving into your body, noticing where you have any kind of physical discomfort and moving your body. Another thing that I suggest is walking really slowly, or completing any task that you're doing as slow as possible. This is going to really get you grounded and present and really aware of the sensations and the discomfort in your body. And this is just about letting that discomfort be okay. Not running from it, not trying to control it, not trying to speed it up and get rid of it or avoid it, but just noticing that it's there and honoring that it's okay. Giving yourself that grace and that compassion to say, okay, I'm a human, I'm experiencing an emotion right now. Because the next step is when you listen to that emotion. And this is when we uncover what is the need that this emotion is signaling for me that I need to get met. This is a really important step, because after we've regulated and grounded ourselves, we have more kind of mental clarity, and we can look at identifying the emotion and identifying the need, the underlying need that this emotion is signaling for us, is how we can begin to take care of ourselves. And the last step is aligned action. That's actually taking the step to take care of ourselves. So let me give you an example of this in action. I have a toddler, super fun, love her so much. She's taught me a lot about emotions. But there are times when I am so angry, and there's times when I'm just so overstimulated from having this toddler in my life. And she needs me, and I feel all the feelings. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel stressed. I feel guilt because my body is sending me all these physical signals that I have underlying needs that aren't getting met. So if I haven't slept because I've been up with her in the night, if I haven't eaten because I've been really busy all day, these are just basic core needs. If these needs aren't getting met, then that anger that shows up is going to signal for me that I need to take care of my needs. I've been neglecting my needs. I need to set a boundary with myself and actually prioritize taking care of that. Or that sadness is showing up. It's like, I need emotional support right now. I need someone to hold me and tell me that it's okay and give me validation and reassurance that I'm being a good parent. So I might go to my husband for that. If that guilt is showing up, it's like, I know that I value being there for my toddler, but I also value being there for myself, and I need a moment for myself right now. So what would I do in practice? I would notice the sensations. I would notice myself being physically, energetically activated. I would say, okay, there's emotions showing up right now. Let me go away. Let me count backwards from 60. Sometimes I only count backwards from 10, but I've been practicing this for a while. Get myself into a more regulated state and say, okay, I hear you, sadness. I need to reach out to someone for support. So I might go to my husband and tell him, like, I'm so overwhelmed and stressed with this toddler. I might say a prayer because we can connect to something higher than us. If you can, get out of nature and just absorb the nature and be super present. That guilt that shows up, I just honor, and I remind myself that as much as I value being there for my toddler, right now I have to prioritize being there for myself so that I can actually show up for her. And so going to get something to eat, listening to that anger, taking some water, and collecting myself, and then going back to her and being there to support her. Now, granted, we can't always do these 4 steps in any given moment. And like I said, I practice this all the time. So what I suggest, if you're just starting out and you're finding yourself in situations where you can't necessarily go through the process because you're a beginner and it takes a little bit longer, I want you to just focus on these 2 questions. After you count backwards from 60 or 30 or 10, what do you need to take care of yourself right now? What would be taking care of yourself in the moment? Reflect on that. Is it taking a walk? Is it going into the bathroom and breathing? Is it, doing different somatic practices, holding certain pressure points? Whatever it is, how can you get into your body and take care of yourself right now? Can you remember that you're important in this moment? And then what are you responsible for? And just focusing on that task and taking action in that way, giving your mind something else to focus on, a problem to solve. What am I responsible for? Okay, what do I need to do right now? Just the next step, not trying to do it all, but just the next step. Then focusing on that in those moments is really going to help you. But then I really suggest that you come back to it after, when you have a moment of downtime, and you reflect on what were the emotions that were coming up, because they will keep coming up if you don't address the underlying need. And how can I get those needs met, right? What are healthy ways that you can get those needs met? This is something that I do with my clients. We brainstorm how to get the needs met, how to work with them. So if you're interested in making the connection between the concepts that I'm teaching and your actual real life, then I highly suggest you join me inside my free membership at mightyemotions.com. This is where I'll share lots of resources with you to help you processing your emotions. Even if, maybe you don't struggle with your emotions, but you know somebody who does and you'd like to know how to support them, these are really good things for you to become aware of as well. Because maybe you grew up in an environment where your needs were met and these things kind of came naturally to you. but you care about somebody who didn't have that and doesn't understand what's going on with them. This has really helped me to be there for my partner and be there for my daughter and be there for my friends, because I've learned to hold space for my own humanity so that I can hold space for them. When their emotions arise, I'm not trying to figure out how to fix them. I'm trying to see what is the need that they're communicating that they don't even realize they're communicating, and how can I make them aware of that? Okay, maybe you need some order right now, or maybe you haven't been taking care of yourself, or maybe you just need someone to like really validate you and see you and hold space for you. Right? So understanding this isn't just important for ourselves. It's important for us in relationship with anyone. It's important for us in work situations, in business situations, all of the situations. Anytime you're dealing with a human being or you're being a human being, this is really good information to know. And the Mighty Emotions method has helped me go from completely dysregulated and overwhelmed and stressed and just going through cycles of burnout and anxiety to really developing and cultivating my emotional resilience, really being able to be grounded and taking such good care of myself in comparison, right? Working with shame has helped me love myself. Working with sadness has helped me connect more than ever. Working with anger has helped me realize when I'm overstepping other people's boundaries and it's harmful and damaging to our connection. Working with fear has helped me find my power to make decisions, to look at my options, to look at my choices, or to get support to get more options and to get more choices. So there is never going to be a scenario where you're not going to need to understand your emotions or the emotions of someone else. So I really encourage you to join us inside mightyemotions.com. And there are amazing masterclasses in there. There'll be future workshops, and look out for the Mighty Emotions Academy, where there'll be so many training videos, a library of videos like these to help you understand each emotion in depth, to learn different somatic practices to work with them, to learn different techniques to move through them and navigate them. It's just going to be a hub of emotional knowledge so that you can really work on your emotional health, which is so, so important. We often forget the importance of our emotional health, and we often think that something's wrong with us for how we're feeling. And that's simply not true. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just a human being. And this knowledge is how you overcome that fear of your feelings, because this knowledge really is your power. So I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope to see you inside the community, and feel free to connect with me on Instagram at mighty_emotions, here on YouTube, become a subscriber, listen to the Mighty Emotions podcast, and just stay connected if this is something that's really important to you. Take care.